are live. We got Harry W. We got Richie from Jets Media, Matt O'Leary, Iowa Jets fan, who in the house. We got Dom C in the house. We got Steve, live, CEO of the Jet Lounge. So I knew I'd get rich on my channel. See what's going on. Yeah, there we go.
Jets by $1 million today.
Yeah. And we are live. This is Jeremy. This is Jets Chaos, here for a little bit of a jump in. Let's talk on a Friday and get this started. So, first of all, what the hell is that? Hide that. Those of you who are entering the draft, maybe I should have left a larger intro. I don't know, but haven't done this for a while. Haven't went live for a while, but I'd like to thank everybody for the support on the videos, and just to remind you what this show is all about and the kind of craziness that goes on this show. There's a little bit of this sometimes. Oh yeah, go. Amazing, that's my boy. That's my boy.
He breaks away from a sack and completes the pass for first down.
Oh, Kittle just may have made the most amazing catch.
He fights for the first down and gets out of bounds too.
It's no good. Overtime. Oh, what a catch. How do you drop that? What are you, Jamal Adams? Touchdown.
This is a touchdown all the way.
He reached over the pylon. San Francisco beat Cincinnati. Yeah, the good old days, Well, we got a new season upon us, a new season, a new year, a new opportunity to make great things happen. And in all honesty, I feel like this is the best roster that we've put together in just about maybe my lifetime. I mean, there's things you could argue. We can, 1998, 1982, 1969. When we go old school like that, pre-1975, different rules and everything, hard to make comparisons. But, 1982, I mean, my argument to that is, yes, we had the sack exchange, very exciting times. We had a lot of great players, but who was our quarterback? You know what I mean? Who was our quarterback? And then, we come to 1998, Vinny Testaverde, prime year with Parcells, Curtis Martin, great coaching, but still, Testaverde, Aaron Rodgers, right? We didn't have no Sauce Gardner back then in 1998 either. And then came the 2010, 2011 years. And with Rex Ryan, again, Mark Sanchez, not Aaron Rodgers. Forte, the running back, not Breece Hall. Darrelle Revis. Okay. We got our match to Sauce Gardner. But do we got our match? Oh, well, maybe we had some great defensive players then. I still prefer this defense. I do. I think this is the best defense we're ever going to put on the field. Obviously, I think it'll be a little bit better if Hassan Reddick suits up. When he suits up, it won't be this Monday night, but I think eventually he's going to come back. And I know a lot of people are upset and they wanted him for the San Francisco game. But imagine this. If we're 8-2, right? We're going into game 11 in the year. And let's say Hassan Reddick had come back since game 3. So now by game 10, he's full on Hassan Reddick. We're the best defense in the NFL. Or top 3 easily, undisputably. And Reddick is in full form. Right? Maybe we still don't like him. Some people, we're still holding grudges or whatever. But however it worked out, he's back on the team. That's the team, right? 8-2, 7-3, whatever it is, even if it's 6-4. That's the team we're moving forward with. That's the team that's going to push out those last 7 games. What happens? Make the playoffs, go on a run. I think we'll be 7-3, 8-2. But, that's, they have to do it. Welcome, Paul Menadosian. I hope I said your name right. Paul Meldio Mel Melodosian. Paul Melodosian. I'm illiterate. Says, are the New York Jets ready? They better be. Yeah, they better be. Now remember, we can't slice our wrists if we lose to the San Francisco 49ers in Santa Clara. That's not end of the world jump off a cliff, especially if we're super, super highly competitive. If that game comes down to the wire, and it's a great game where it's championship football, where the Niners are at their best, playing great, and we're just playing well enough to stay in there and go toe to toe with a Super Bowl team in their stadium. It's going to mean really good things for us. We just don't want to get blown out. That would be really bad. So we have New York Jets super fan in the house. What's going on? He says, let's go. Let's go, man. It's exciting. Exciting times to be a Jet fan. Dano's here. The great Dano. I believe that this is the name of his channel, his username, Dano Jets. I'm really bad at names and things like that, so it's not personal, Dano. It's not that I don't value your channel. It's just that I don't pay attention to details. I'm an ADHD kind of guy. So if I'm wrong, please correct me and whatever. But yeah, Dano, does his own show, has his own talk show, does that stuff. Do your shit, man. Sub to his channel. Help him out. He's a Jet fan. At the very least, I think you'll like his content. I think you'll like hanging out with Dano. But at the very least, it's hitting a button, a subscribe button, to help a Jets fan who's passionate about the Jets. Why wouldn't you do it? It doesn't hurt you. So definitely check that out. Chaos, you got to do a big blowout event for 5,000 subscribers. You're inching closer every time I look. I like that people are looking and noticing. I appreciate that. As you probably would imagine, I'm looking and noticing. I don't know if you've noticed this, but I've started making videos again, and I'm trying to do at least one every day. And that was out of nowhere after a few months of probably doing one or two. So since then, I was stuck at 4,900 for the longest time. Literally 4,908. I know the number because I was stuck at that number forever because I wasn't doing anything. And it's weird. I wasn't losing subs. I wasn't gaining subs. It was just sitting at that number. And then since I've started making videos again, a few of them have done really well. I really appreciate the support. And a lot of people have jumped on board and subbed to the channel. And now all of a sudden I am about, I don't know, 15, 16 subs away from hitting 5,000. Super exciting. If you're not in the chat, that's you have to sub and be a subscriber for a minute to talk in the chat. That's not me obnoxiously saying you have to sub if you want to talk in the chat. That's me trying to get rid of spam, because spam is a really annoying thing, in the chat. And that's how you get rid of it. It takes a live person to actually know, oh, I have to subscribe to the channel to be able to talk in the chat. And that's how you get rid of spam, just in case any of you don't know that. Dana says, if you're splitting 30 carries from our RB room, how do you divide it? 30, I hope it ends up more, because more would mean the more carries we get from our running backs combined, the more running plays we run from after perspective, the better chance I think that means we won the game. Obviously, if you have 40 plus carries, it means you got some kind of awesome lead and you spent the whole third and the fourth quarter just running out the ball, which would be superb. But I think that if Rodgers has to drop back 40 plus times a game, that's a bad sign. And it doesn't mean we won't do well. It doesn't mean we can't compete, but it certainly isn't the brand of football we're going to win with. How would I divide it up? I think week one it's going to be like a higher percentage Breece Hall than it might be as we go down the road. I think that although I'm super excited about Braden Allen, like super, super excited about Braden Allen, and I like, Isaiah Davis, and, and I think that, he's going to be a good, especially coming in and getting carries when we have a lead against certain teams. I think he's going to be a good, take the hits, take a little, take some wear and tear off of, Breece Hall and even Allen. I think a game like the Niners, such a big game on their field, I expect us to go a lot heavier with Breece Hall. So out of 30 carries, like 25 of them, 24 of them, it's hard 23. It's hard because to say, but because I could see a mix of Allen coming in and getting some carries. But maybe he gets 7, 8 carries, so that means what, 22 for Breece Hall, 23. I see that, maybe that kind of breakdown. I hope it ends up being that we run the ball 35 times and it's 25 times or 20 times Breece Hall, 8 times and 7 times, like for Isaiah Allen and Isaiah Davis, because it means that we got a lead and we were protecting it or whatever. That would be obviously the dream scenario. But I think that it's going to be a tight game and it's going to be mostly Breece Hall. No plug necessary. Just keep. I do it. I don't do it because I feel it's necessary. I do it because I love. Hello, Jets Chaos. It is Charles Gorman. Just subbed to your channel. Well, thank you, Charles. I'm glad that you subbed. I am a fan of yours. I certainly enjoy the things that you've done online with Nick. You're a good guy, and I appreciate having you as a sub on the channel. Wild Wave is here. What's going on, brother? It's good to see you. Wild Wave, great supporter of the channel, good friends of Green Bean and myself and everybody else. We all know and love Wild Wave, so it's good to see you. Cameron Trammell, I've seen you here many times for a long time. Thanks for your long time support. Good to see you on this Friday. You would expect to protect Rodgers' game plan. Protect Rodgers' game plan, so I would expect more of a strong running game. Yes, but it has to work, right? We have to establish it. I believe we will. I believe we better. Like, I think that's the best way to attack San Francisco. Not that they're weak anywhere, but I think if there's any place I've seen teams have success, it's just running right up the middle on them, and sometimes you're able to, teams have done it. I've seen teams establish a running game against them, not like run over them, but be successful. And with our offensive line and Breece Hall, we might run over everybody. Who knows if things go the right way? But yeah, I think you'd protect Rodgers all freaking year, and I think that Rodgers, like, the expectations the great thing would be is if we don't have to have him dropping back every play. And the way the expectations for Rodgers and the way we're using him is efficiency, right? Like 25 passes, 19 for 25, 18 for 25, 19 for 25, games where he goes 18 for 22. And we're just running the ball so efficiently and so effectively that he could be efficient and make the passes he needs to. And out of those completions, that Garrett Wilson's going to break a couple and have some big plays and spread out the rest. Breece Hall will have some short passes, but that would be the ideal. So I know people might not love statistically what that might mean, fantasy fans and fans of big numbers. But if you want to talk about how to win games, that would mean Aaron Rodgers not having to drop back a lot and us controlling the line of scrimmage and controlling the football with 4 to 5 yards per carry. Obviously, sometimes you're only going to have 2 yards, but then he's going to shoot for 8 yards. And that's the way Breece Hall is. Breece Hall is, he's a big chunk guy. He's a chunk guy. And I think we're going to see more of if you want to know a consistent kind of runner, it'll be more like Allen. I think Braden Allen's going to be more like not that he won't have some big runs, but I think he's going to be more of the in the 4 to 5 range. Not only will he average 4.5 yards, but that's what he's going to get. Most of his carries, he's going to go about 4 to 5 yards because he won't go down on first contact, but he's also doesn't got the getaway speed. I don't think he's going to be a home run hitter. I think he's going to be, though, even when he gets hit at the line of scrimmage, is going to still be a beast that, pops off of it and still spurts out for 4 or 5 yards. And, 4 to 5 yards a play wins the game. So it'll be fine. And I think he'll have some big runs too, because there'll be times where he pops the hole and he's big and he's strong. He'll knock somebody on their butt and he'll shoot out for 15 yards. I'm excited about him as a running back. I think he might prove to be a guy who could start for other teams. I too expect more. We ran 38 388 times last year. I'm hoping to push near 500, honestly. So am I. The more, the better. The more we run the ball, the better season it means we had. I mean, there's no, I don't think anybody can argue that. The more carries we have, the better the season went. And I do think that this is a run first offense. I do think that that's the identity that we're going to find as an offense. We're going to be a very physical, very forceful, run over you, pound you to the ground, wear you down running team. But when you stop the run, when you stack the box, Rodgers is going to make you pay. Hard play fakes, hard play action passes, slant passes to Garrett Wilson. It'll happen several times for touchdowns. It'll happen multiple times this year. And deep passes, hard fake, Mike Williams down the sideline. You're going to see things like that happen. No question in my mind. Slants to Conklin, 15 to 20 yards. Ruckert. Hopefully they'll give Ruckert the opportunity because the guy's a vacuum. He just needs the opportunity. So hopefully he'll get those opportunities too. There's only so much that can go around. I also think that you're going to see some short passes, screen passes, and opportunities for Xavier Gibson to make some big plays. And eventually they're going to work in Malachi Corley and probably have some plays designed for him as well. So we're going to be a multifaceted offense. We're going to have a lot of different ways to win, a lot of different plays to call. There's going to be a big selection. We got a lot of different skills and talent on the team that we haven't always had. So there are different things we could expect. We have 3 running backs who can be receiving running backs, which is really nice. It's not a tell to take a guy into the game. So when Allen comes in, it's not a tell that we're doing something different necessarily because Braylon Allen could go out for a pass. He showed that capability and that skill set, and as well as Isaiah Davis, which is exciting. I don't know why it took so long for Hackett or the Jets to realize and say it out loud that Breece Hall is clearly a 3-down back. I think that even college, there's proof that he was a great athlete who made spectacular catches. I think, to be fair, what they meant was that not about him being able to catch the ball and be dangerous with the ball. Any great running back, if you throw him an 8-yard pass and they catch it, is dangerous with the football. I think what they're talking about is route running. Breece Hall could route run, meaning he could run and get open. Not just a simple little route, but he could run a real route. You could even sneak him up to the line of scrimmage in the slot and have him go out for a pass because he's that talented and has that much ability. So that's what I think they were talking about with him. Minnesota Jets fan says it's going to be crazy. Lazard is going to get first touchdown. I don't think that's impossible. He has a lot of familiarity with A-Rod, and I think that he had a great camp. And I expect to see Lazard around. I expect a much better year out of him. He's not going to go all pro. He's not going to be a superstar for us, but I don't think he's going to be I don't think he's going to be a lamb, a pig to the slaughter, or whatever you want to call him. It's just I don't think that he's going to be what he was last year. I think he's going to have some big plays, and I think he's going to win back a lot of fans. I do. Love you too, bro. Yeah, it's my guy. Pure Adrenaline Sports. John the Postman is here. I did send out a text that was pretty funny to people. If I didn't send it to you and I don't have your private phone number, I'm sorry. But there was a pretty funny text of a basketball player taking a last-second shot and throwing the ball like a half-court shot, and it sails into the crowd like 50 feet above the rim. And the meme above it says, Lamar Jackson attempting to tie the game. It's pretty freaking funny. Knob is here. He's just saying awesome. That's just it. Awesome, he's saying. I assume he said awesome because I'm here. He gets to hang out. Will not give up the rock like that. He's going to be slinging it. I think there are some games he'll be slinging it. He's capable of still slinging it. I just think that it depends. I just think that if you want to be safe, the safest strategy is if you're effectively running the ball, the safest thing to do is just keep running the ball. Keep the other team's offense off the field. They can't score points. Running the ball is the least likelihood of turnover. It's the safest way to play football. So if you could do it effectively, you should do it a lot. Now, there are going to be there are going to be games where it might be San Francisco where they're going to effectively stop the run, and we're going to be forced to pass more, and Rodgers is going to sling it. Then there'll be games where we can run, but they're going to recognize, like, Rodgers and Garrett Wilson going to get together in the huddle, and he's going to say, I'm being covered by a guy I can kill. This guy can't cover me. What are we wasting our time for? Just throw me the fucking ball. Because the guy can't cover me. And they got 7-8 guys in the box because they're trying to stop Brees. I'm going to put a move, and I'm going to be wide open. And you're right. Aaron Rodgers is going to say, yeah, good point. And he's going to read it. He's going to read the defense. He's going to say, yes, they're definitely staying in. They're going to stack the box. He's going to fake the handoff, and he's going to throw it up the middle, deep down, and there's going to be a wide open Garrett Wilson. You're going to see these things happen throughout the season. If you watch any Green Bay season with Aaron Rodgers, I know he had a rough one the last one because he had a bunch of rookie receivers who kept getting hurt. So he had a horrible situation. He had a broken finger. But if you look at any season other than that one, multiple touchdowns, a lot of times in the same game, multiple touchdowns where they're 30, 40-yard touchdown passes. I mean, just downfield, big plays, and passes into the end zone that are caught in the corner. Like, this is a guy who's thrown a lot of touchdowns in his career. And even at his age, he's still got that arm. We've seen it. So, yeah, there'll be games where we sling it. But there'll also be games. There are going to be games where we have big leads and we're just running the ball the whole second half. And I know that's going to bore the hell out of people, but it's a lot of fun. When the other team can't stop you, and you're just pounding the ball, first down, and they're so frustrated. They're 17 points down. They need the ball, desperately need the ball, and you just wear down 7 minutes in a drive and add on another field goal. So freaking frustrating. And then that puts them in a situation where they're in shotgun every play, and our edges go hunting. And that's going to be really fun to watch. Can our D stop the run? That's our issue versus teams like San Francisco and Miami. And I think, Superfan, I think you named the right teams. Like, those are teams I'm concerned about. Miami, because of the speed of their running backs. They're Mustard and a chain. They're super fast, super speedy, and they're dangerous. And then, of course, San Francisco has the great McCaffrey. And I will very well-deserved title to refer to him as the great McCaffrey, because he is a phenomenal football player. Going to be really challenging. It's going to be really challenging. And I think that our philosophy is going to be give a little, right, to stop the big plays. No big plays. That's they always talk about that. No big plays. And then tighten up when they get closer. And I think that if we can get them to settle for field goals and not get in the end zone, I think we're going to concede. Like, I think we're going to do that. I think we're going to be okay with that. And then what we're going to hope in return is that we're able to score touchdowns, but there's sometimes where it's not like, shutout domination. It's contain, force them to settle for 3, and if we can get a lead, it changes everything, though, because you take McCaffrey out of the game. Same thing with Miami. If you can get the lead, then you take the running backs out of the game for the most part, and you force the quarterbacks to go in shotgun, and you force them to throw, and you go hunting. And that's the brand of football we're going to have to hope that, we're playing. But look, there are going to be tough games, and I'm not predicting they go undefeated, which means there's going to be games we lose. And I don't even have us beating Miami both times. I have us splitting with Miami. So, and if I was to give you my predictions for every game, if it says 12-5 or 13-4, the funny thing is there'll be a loss against Miami, and I'm predicting, even though I think we have a good chance, a good 40% shot at beating the Niners, if you hold a gun to my head and say, what's my prediction? My prediction is we're going to lose a very tight game. But then we're going to go on like a 4 or 5 game winning streak. Somewhere along the line, we'll misstep and lose a game, and then we'll win a few more. And I think we're going to have this really phenomenal record of like 8-3 or 7-3, 8-3, whatever it is. And we're going to have this great run at the, and end up 12-5, 13-4, whatever it is. So if we're more like 8-2, then I'm thinking 13-4. And obviously, and if we're more like 7-3 and then 8-3 or whatever it is, then I'm thinking more like 12-5. Make sense? I'm falling behind, so let me catch up a little bit. Yeah, a lot of us don't talk about the need for, to reduce the amount of penalties, but I got to tell you, Paul, I think I'm much more worried about injuries. I'd say the number one thing is we got to stay healthy. Then we'll be able to score points, capitalize on the fact that we have a top-notch defense and win some games. But yeah, man, I think the playoffs is where we really have to watch the penalties. When you're playing other premier teams, if we're playing against Baltimore, if we're playing against Buffalo, if we're playing against, of course, Kansas City, it's the penalties are a factor. We saw that last night. I don't know if we're going to get a fair shake against Kansas City. I don't know if anybody gets a fair shake against Kansas City. I think that there's a lot of corruption right now in the NFL. I think it's every big game that they play in, it's blatant bias to the referees. Blatant. I mean, it's so blatant, it's ridiculous. And I'm not talking about the likely almost touchdown. I'm talking about the penalties with the offensive alignment, like the way they were lining up. And people were putting pictures up of Kansas City's alignment and formation and the Baltimore formation, and it was absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it's like they're playing two different sports under two different sets of rules, and it's absolutely ridiculous. And I'm very concerned about it. Like, if we have to play Kansas City in the playoffs, I'm really concerned about it because I think that Kansas City really does get this big advantage shifted to them based on bias from the referees. And it's really a problem because it's hurting the legitimacy of the sport. And I'm going to be very concerned. I think the only way to beat Kansas City is, the way to do it. No excuses. I think because they're not going to care. No one's going to change the results anyway. I think if you ask me, how do you beat Kansas City? You got to go into the end of the game, the back of the third quarter and the fourth quarter with a 10-point or better lead. So whatever horrible or ridiculous call the referees are going to make are not enough for them to overcome and beat you. Or they would have to get so blatant with it, we just walk off the freaking field and protest and start down the sport. Like the fans just say, we see you cheating because you're trying so hard to get them back in the game. I don't doubt that would ever happen. But I think that you have to beat the team. You have to beat Kansas City well enough that the referee can't determine the game with their calls. And it's really hard because it's almost like they're very strategic with it. When they see we have momentum, they will throw some flag that they wouldn't normally throw, looking for any excuse to hurt our momentum. And all it takes a referee to do is throw a holding flag because there's holding every play. And it's not real holding. It's if a guy turns to tackle someone and you're still blocking them, the refs could technically throw a flag. So the referees have the power to just throw a flag anytime they want and put us back 10 yards. And we can't stop it. No team can. So the only thing that could stop it is a huge boycott or a conspiracy where they find out, where someone brings a tape recorder into a meeting and gets a real recording, a real evidence that the upper officials in the league are truly planning it and telling the referees to call holding against the other teams to stop their momentum to help Kansas City win. And a lot of people think that's crazy, and it's not. They make a lot of money with Kansas City and Taylor Swift and all this bullshit and Patrick Mahomes and all this hype train that these guys have. They make a lot more money when this team's in the Super Bowl. That's just the way it is. So we're going to have to take it out of their hands. We're going to have to win with enough authority to take it out of the referee's hands. Does anyone know if Brandon Bates has been practicing against our defense this past week? I don't know. I don't know if Brandon Bates has been practicing against our defense this past week. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know who the hell Brandon. I don't know who Brandon Bates is. Should I be thrown off YouTube? Because I don't even know who he is. I don't know, man. I don't know, Freddie. Tell me who he is, though. Every time I see a name Freddie, I think of Freddie Blassie, the manager in wrestling from the 1980s, the classy Freddie Blassie. I can't help it. I see the name Freddie, and that's what I think. No one gets a fair shake. The evidence is in the video. There's tons of tape. showing that you do not get a fair shake against the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, there's so much evidence of it. The Vikings game last year, oh my God. It's the most blatant thing in the planet. There's never been a game to me, if you ever wanted evidence that the referees are cheating and there's bias, and the bias is for the Kansas City Chiefs to win, watch the freaking Vikings game. The 2023 Kansas City Chiefs versus the Minnesota Vikings is all you need to watch to know. There were 3 penalties in one. The referees made 3 horrendously bad plays to help Kansas City win that game. 3. And 3 things you could point out that were all blatantly done on purpose to help Kansas City. You can't tell me that that all 3 were just mysterious accidents and coincidences of the referees made a mistake. You cannot convince me of that. Jeremy, you're officially back. What happens to Wednesday Night Meltdown? Meltdown. He's a really funny guy, Modine. I mean, Wednesday Night Chaos. Meltdown. That's so funny. Yeah, I'm back. Look, man, I was really busy. I'm still busy with school, but I had the combined busyness of my father being sick. So I was flying across the country, is what I was doing, back and forth. And I was so exhausted from if you ever had a family member be sick. So I was so exhausted from the flying back. I was spending 50% of my time in North Carolina. And it started like a year and a half ago, but it just wore me down. And it got to a point where my dad got really sick that I was there 50% of the time legitimately. Like I would come home just to see my wife, spend a couple of weeks at home, go back to North Carolina, be there for 10 days or whatever it was, come back home, have to go back to North Carolina. Oh no, dad's in the hospital kind of thing. Yeah, he's passed away now. So I have to still go because now my dad passed away. So he's, I don't have a sick dad to take care of. I'm glad he's not suffering anymore. The problem is my mother's alone. And I do have a brother there that lives close by, but it's not fair to put it all on him to keep her company. So I'm still going to be going back there, but I don't think it's going to be as exhausting because there was a mental strain, obviously, because my dad was so sick, whereas my mom is doing fairly well. It's just going to be more just watch TV with her, hang out, take her shopping, bring her back special things from restaurants, to make her happy. I don't know. But anyway, I'm back now. I'm inspired. My dad inspired me. He played his music. He played a mandolin on his hospital bed, his final night of life with my niece singing because his passion was music. And I said, well, if he can go to the end of his life, literally the last 5-6 hours, because he went to the ICU literally that night afterwards and passed away. If he can follow his passion and do it to that extent, to that point of his life, I said, what do I like doing? What do I enjoy doing? There's no excuse not to do it. And that's this. So that's why I'm back. So rest in peace, Dad. Assistant coach calls a timeout. Oh, I'm sorry. I got to jump back down. Thoughts on the Bills giving Kansas City worthy? Yeah, I mean, I think it's something they're going to regret, right? A lot of teams make bad, like the Giants have had some bad draft picks. They've had some good ones. I think Neighbors was a great pick. But, man, they've had some great bad picks, right? Like Tony, what a bad pick that was. And Neil Allen and Neil Evans or whatever, Evan Neal, the offensive tackle, like, wow, that was a bad pick. They've made some really bad picks. So teams make bad picks. We used to make bad picks for years. The last few years have been amazing, though. Like amazing picks. I mean, like one of the greatest in history. I think that the 22 draft is going to go down as one of the greatest in the history of the NFL, not just for the Jets, but in the NFL. Because I think at the end of the day, I think that Sauce Gardner is going to be a Hall of Famer. I think that Garrett Wilson has a chance to be a Hall of Famer, depending on if the Jets win and he has longevity in his career and has the production we think he can have. I think Jermaine Johnson, now he has to explode. I mean, obviously, you have to start getting 12 plus, 14 plus sacks a year for a bunch of years to be considered as an edge for the Hall of Fame. So he hasn't had a year like that yet. So he's, so that's still a question mark, but he definitely has the potential, to be really great. And then you have Breece Hall, who I definitely think has the potential to become a Hall of Famer. I think he's going to be a top 2 running back for the next 5 years in the NFL. I think he's going to put up all kinds of crazy numbers. He'll go over 10,000 rushing in his career and all that good stuff, and probably be a Hall of Famer. So, I mean, I think it could go down as one of the most epic historical drafts ever, because you have, out of those top 4 guys that were picked in that draft, 2 to 3 that are going to end up Hall of Famers, which I just think is just mind-blowing. So, and I don't think we talk about that enough. Why did they grant that timeout? I don't know, man. I can't answer that question. I don't know why they granted that timeout. That's what I'm saying. I don't get it. Jeremy, I have had no less than 6 NFL players tell me exactly what you just said about how the league manipulates revenue through the officials that only beat us to play bulletproof. Yeah, that's amazing. I didn't know that you knew NFL players, but it just doesn't surprise me. It just doesn't surprise me. Like it's so blatant. Like it's so blatant. I mean, if it happened one game, you say, "Oh, the refs cheated," this or that. It's so blatant, and then they caught it in the NBA. So now, they actually caught referees in the NBA and found out that it was real in the NBA. So you can't sit there and tell me, it's stupid at this point. It's not some wacko conspiracy theory, because it's happened. They caught people. So we know that it's a real thing. Welcome back. Welcome back to you, man. Totally agree with Jeremy. The case is a joke. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's a joke. But win big and win. I'm sorry, I'm just catching up to things. So, well, thank you, Mo. I appreciate that. Yeah. I hope hack sacks become a thing. Hack sacks. I like that. I like the sounds of that. Submissions. Sorry about you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you. I didn't really address it online ever, so I appreciate that. I want you all to know he went without any pain. So that's my saving thing. I could not afford to see him suffer, and thank God he didn't. So I appreciate it, guys. I do. I appreciate it. What's up, Tom C? What's going on? Chaos. Yes, it is chaos. And yeah, man, I feel good to be back. Thank you, Roger. I appreciate it. And I hope you're doing well, man. I hope you're healthy. I hope Chloe's doing well. And yeah, I have 2 older brothers, but screw that. I'm in charge now. D. Miller was a horrible draft pick. There's no question about that. That was a garbage pick. You want to talk about bad draft picks? Vernon Gholston. Although it's not like at the time I was yelling and screaming. I'm not going to pretend I knew that. I was excited, man. I went to a preseason game that year that we took Vernon Gholston to see him play, and I was so excited. It was like when we took Marvin Jones. I was so excited. I thought the guy was going to be I thought we had a beast. I thought we had a guy that was going to get 15 plus sacks every year. I was so freaking excited, dude. And then I waited game after game. I made excuses, and the sack never came. It was unbelievable. Becton and Huff starting tonight for the Eagles versus the Pack. Let's see how they play. Well, if Becton is at guard, I expect him to play really well. It's weird. He's big for a guard. It's kind of different. It's kind of strange. But I expect him to do really well because he's so strong. So I think he's going to just throw people around. I mean, Barkley's got to be real. Saquon Barkley's got to be salivating. I mean, he went from the Giants to the Eagles. Do you know the step up in offensive line? Can you imagine? And he has a dangerous quarterback that you have to respect. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and call Hurts a freaking, Rodgers in his prime, Tom Brady. I'm not saying that, but Hurts can hurt you in multiple ways. He's a real weapon. He's a real quarterback. He's much more dangerous than Daniel Jones. They have much better offensive coaching. They've been a better offensive team. Saquon Barkley, man, watch out for that guy. That dude might go off. So To get in contact with Jeremy or follow Jets Chaos via AK Twitter, that's true. I do not ignore DMs on Twitter. I don't ignore comments on these videos. Like when you comment on my video, you notice I always heart them. If you ask me a question or want to somehow get in touch with me, you can go on to the comment section of any of my videos and say, hey, Cass, I really need to talk to you, or there's something I need to ask you. And I'll say, if you're not on Twitter, if you're on Twitter, Jets Chaos, DM me. So far, it's a manageable thing. Like it's manageable. I don't get so many people reaching out that I don't have time to, I'm not that big. I'm not freaking Green Bean. I'm certainly not Jake Asman. So, and I don't want to act like they don't get back to you, because what's interesting is Jake Asman always gets back to me. And it's not because of my channel. I mean, before he knew who I was, before I even had a channel, Jake Asman used to get back to me. If I sent him a tweet, like a DM, he would get back to me. So those guys are great about that. But you get really, I'm sure he's getting so much traffic. Like it must be really hard for him to respond to everyone. I'm not having that problem. So if you want to ask me a question, you could find me on Twitter. You can find me on Instagram, Jets Chaos. I will accept and confirm or whatever it has to do and take your messages. So don't worry about that. So yeah, if you need to get a hold of me, that's how to do it. You're asking Dom the questions now. 58-57 Jets over 40 Winers. That would be the sickest game in the history of the NFL. But if you really believe it, take the over. Bet the over on that. Yeah, 10K career yards. Yeah. Look, maybe not rushing. Maybe it's a lot easier of a prediction if it's total yards from the line of scrimmage. But I honestly see Breece Hall getting 1,500 rushing yards for the next 5 years. Like I see that. I see him as like an Emmitt Smith, Adrian Peters. Like I see him as that guy. I think it's just giving him a freaking offensive line and the team and a quarterback. I mean, great running backs could do it with a bad offensive line and a quarterback, or a good offensive line and a bad quarterback. But to have the most decimated offensive line, the most putrid, ridiculous offensive line, and the worst quarterback play in the NFL, and be coming back from an ACL, and do what he did, I'm telling you, I don't even think most Jet fans, and even ones that love him, really understand what's going to happen. I really don't think, and I might be totally wrong, and I'm going to eat my words if I am, but I believe that you're going to see something that you've never dreamed of seeing. Well, I mean, you've seen it with Curtis Martin. You've seen what a dominant running back looks like. I think you're going to have like a Curtis Martin type running back, but you're going to have more breakaways. I think there's going to be more touchdowns, like from screen passes, short passes turned. Like he's a home run hitter, guys. He's a home run hitter that also grinds 4 to 5 yards because he's strong. Like he's going to be able to just regularly run and spurt 4 to 5 yards with our offensive line and make 8-yard plays and spin and do his thing because he's crazy good. But he's also a home run hitter. Any mistake the defenses make against Breece Hall, he's going to punish them because they don't want to hit him. The secondary does not want him. He is a monster. I'm thinking like his thighs are starting to look like Henry's thighs. You notice. I don't know if you notice year after year, but they're getting really big, and that's what makes Henry so crazy. That's what made him so dangerous in his prime years. So buckle your seatbelts, guys. You want to see a great running back? We're going to see a great running back. I think he's going to go down as the greatest that we've ever had. And he's going to go down as one of the great NFL running backs. I really believe it. I think it's fair to say that most of us did not know that rule. At least I didn't. Are you talking about the rule of the tackles being a little further back than the guards? I don't know if that's the one you're talking about. All I know is I saw pictures, not that I did the research, but I saw pictures of when Baltimore got called for the formation, the offensive formation penalty, And then they compared it and they showed pictures of Kansas City's alignments where it wasn't called. And if anything, Kansas City was breaking the rule more blatantly. So I don't know. I don't know what to say. Prediction for Monday night, Germs. I predicted with Matt O'Leary that the Jets are going to lose 26-23. But here's the thing. I think that we have a 40% chance to win that game. I think it's 60-40. I think if we played them 10 times, we'd come away with a win 4 times. And I think that that's very pro-Jet. Like, I don't think that I'm being, like, negative when I say that. I think it's very high regard. And it's very complimentary to say that any team will go into San Francisco and win 4 times if they play them 10 times. You're talking about a Super Bowl team. And it's not just a Super Bowl team that like lost the Super Bowl 38-14. Okay? We're talking about a team that one play doesn't happen, then they win the Super Bowl. I mean, one little twist in that game and so many different parts of that game. And then they took them to freaking overtime. So we're playing a legitimate Super Bowl team that very easily could have been the Super Bowl champion. They took Kansas City as far as you could take them. And we're opening the season in their stadium. A higher percentage of their players are returning in the same positions. We're finally getting some of that. Like our defense, it's great. We're getting so much of that. But we have a whole new offensive line. And I know they're individually really good. But, history proves offense. I'm not saying they're going to be bad, but we're not our best. Like our offensive line is going to be better week 10 or week 15 than it is week 1. It will. Is if they stay healthy. Assuming we stay healthy, they're going to be better because they're going to learn together. They're going to grow together. They're going to get experience working together as a unit. So we're going in against a team that, yeah, they have some new stuff on their offensive line, but overall as a team, they've been playing this system and winning in this system for years. Okay? And we're looking for our first winning season. So it's a tremendous disadvantage. And I think saying that we could win 4 out of 10 times is being really optimistic. But I also believe that I'm not being crazy because I'm looking at our roster on paper and I'm looking at our health. We managed, knock on wood, to stay wonderfully healthy this offseason. And I just think that we have the talent. I think that if we come out and individually every player does what they need to do, I think that we're a very special team. I think that the offensive linemen that we took from Baltimore, and now you looked at Baltimore's offensive line last night, you saw the difference. We know what Mosley can do. I think people are going to learn who Simpson is. And I trust our coaching staff, the fact that they're pointing it out and saying, I mean, when Aaron Rodgers says, holy cow, this guy Simpson is special. Like, he's really good. I'm not saying he's like all world beater, all pro, but he's solid. What I mean is that he's solid. So now, I mean, AVT, when did we ever come into a season with a right guard and a left guard where one is like an all-pro, could play any position on the offensive line, kind of crazy stud, and the other is this guy who played 17 games for the freaking Ravens, a running team, a quality team, who's having a great camp, who looks very good. I think it's just the penalties that he has to cut down on. I think that's the big critique on him. And he was a young guy playing his first full season. So it's believable that he'll cut down the penalties. It's very believable. And then we're talking about top 2 offensive tackle in left tackle in the game. And the only guy that's better, that you can argue is better than Tyron, is the guy we're playing against, Trent. But the 2 best left tackles in the NFL are in this game. But one of them is on our freaking offensive line. So, and then Tippmann was just getting better all year. So we got Tippmann coming in for his second year, and he's been going and he's stepping up and up and up. And we know he's really good. And surrounded by those 2 guards on each side of him, he's going to be even better. So, I mean, we are very, very good. Garrett Wilson is very good. Breece Hall is, I mean, these are great stars. These are stars. It doesn't matter that Reddick's not going to be there. We still have Sauce Gardner with the best cornerback in football on that defense. We have one of the best top 5 defensive tackles on that defense. We have a guy that is a Pro Bowl type, Jermaine Johnson edge that's getting better. That's about to probably take another big jump. We got Will McDonald, who I know it's not proven in sacks, but you could look at the film. The win percentage is top in the NFL. He's in the top 5 in win percentage. It means that if he gets the reps, he's going to cause disruption. So we're not sitting here like broken down as a defense because Reddick is not there. Oh, by the way, the guy next to Sauce is, that guy DJ Reed is pretty freaking good. And by the way, our slot corner is one of the best in the game. Oh, and our 2 linebackers. Yeah, CJ Mosley has lost a step, but he makes up for it with his brain and as the leader and the quarterback of the defense. And then Quincy Williams is a freaking stud. And we don't talk about the safeties, but I think if you trust this staff, which you should, trust the fact that Tony Adams is going to be special. Trust that he's going to get better every year and be really good. Because if there's one thing this defensive staff knows, it's secondary, defensive backs. Trust me. They've known for 2 years they've been developing this kid. Okay? This has been a while now. They know what they have in Tony Adams. Clark we don't have to say anything more. I mean, I love Baltimore. They gave us a team. Thank you for Clark and safety. Thank you for giving us 40% of our offensive line. I mean, Baltimore is almost like they came over and said, Joe, for old time's sake, we're gonna help you build a team down over there in New York. But we're freaking solid. We're solid. I'm excited about it. You're asking if we're ready. I asked if we're ready. I think you're getting my answer right now if we're ready. I think Friday is going to be a new thing, guys. I think Friday is going to be a new thing, especially if they end up playing Labor Day weekend next year. If they really put that into play, I think you're looking at Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday games for Labor Day weekend. So the NFL is branching out now. It's big money. It's big business, just like the Premier League in England. There was a day where they all played on Sundays. Now everything is different with the Premier League, and you got games all weird days of the week and all kinds of weird rescheduling because of the Champions Cup and all kinds, that's the NFL now. That's what, you know what I mean? That's the NFL. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. It's big business. So don't be surprised what days you see games. It's going to all kinds of craziness. I mean, we have 2 teams playing today that wear green that are not allowed to wear green in the country they're playing. I mean, it's a weird league. Jeremy, my favorite Jets first round pick that I liked didn't even pan out was Jeff Lageman. I think that Jeff Lageman was not a bust though. Jeff Lageman actually went to Jacksonville and was pretty good. I will say this. That was a reach. We didn't have the internet back then. Okay. But I was sitting there with a Jets family. And it's interesting because of this family, because my friends who I went to high school with, he's passed away and his father has passed away. So 2 of the 3 men that were in that, or guys that were in that apartment where I used to watch my Jet games in Brooklyn are gone. But the younger brother, he was the little nerd. He had all the magazines because that's what you had to do back then. I'm sure Dom C used to do that. When there's no internet, what'd you do? How did you prospect for the draft? You bought magazines. The magazines would tell you about players. And when the Jets took Lageman, we were like, who? It was like the 14th pick, I think, right? It was pick 14 or 15, 16. It was right there in the mid-teens. Jets take defensive end Jeff Lageman. I forget what school. Who? What the fuck? Because we're screaming BBs or Peebles, this guy from NC State, a wide receiver. We're yelling out all these different names of guys. And this kid opens up the magazine. This guy, David, opens up the magazine. And he goes, Jeff Lageman, possible middle of the second round pick. We were like, what? We could have gotten him in the second round. So for a guy who we reached for, who was projected in that magazine was the equivalent of, I don't know, like one of the websites what we listened to, but they were saying mid-second round pick. And we thought he was a joke, but then he turned out to be okay. He wasn't a star, but he was okay. He was a good player, and he went to Jacksonville and actually had some good years. Maybe 1 or 2 good years. Maybe I'm embellishing, but he was pretty good. Like, he wasn't near the bust that, some of our, remember what Kyle Brady, the tight end. I don't know how many Friday games they're going to have. I don't think there's going to be many, but I think they're going to do a game on Black Friday again, right? Day after Thanksgiving, but just not us. No call-ins ever. I don't know about that. I never said no call-ins ever. Alan, what's going on, brother? What is up, Jeremy? It's good to see you, man. Happy Friday. Good to see Alan Dodds from the Green Bean Discord. Good to see you, brother. I'm looking forward to Monday night, to hanging out with you guys and doing the watch party with Green Bean. So that'll be fun. We'll see you because it's Monday night. If anyone else is going to be with us, that's always interesting. Yeah. So, but that's the thing about rules that aren't always enforced, right? When you have different rules, different penalties that you can call that aren't always enforced or typically not enforced, and suddenly you're enforcing them, it's going to raise suspicion, especially when it's the team playing against the Kansas City Chiefs. You know what I mean? So it's like you could enforce every rule, but you have to do it consistently. I think we all know that. 60-40 is very fair. I agree with you. Oh, cool. It's nice to be agreed with. Submissions. You don't know how many people call me nuts and don't agree, but if the game was at MetLife, I'd say it was a toss-up. I would. I'd say it was a toss-up. But even if I didn't, even if I said it was 55-45 San Francisco, that's a big difference because that's a 10-point difference versus a 20-point difference in my spread. You know what I mean? Of percentage. So there is a difference. But okay, maybe I'd say 52% San Francisco, 48% Jets in MetLife. Like more to the middle. How about that? Fair enough? I don't know. Peacock's a good channel, man. They get a lot of stuff. If you like wrestling, Charles, Peacock gets all the wrestling events like SummerSlam and WrestleMania and all that stuff. So, Eric Craig, what's going on, my brother? All the way in Texas. He says, "What's up? The fans are certainly ready. We've been waiting for a year season with this team. Yeah, we've been waiting a long time, bro. I mean, I've been waiting since Aaron Rodgers went down because deep in my heart, I knew it was over. I mean, I cheered for the Buffalo win. There was a time where we looked like we might be competitive. Zach played well against Kansas City, but deep in my heart, I knew there was not going to be no Super Bowl. Like I knew it even before the collapse. I knew it. So this has been a long time coming. Where we've had the hope again, where I believe again, where I'm like gonna watch Jet football and actually believe we could win, and that we could beat any team. You know, but there is no call because they don't want quarterbacks getting killed every game. Oh, you're talking to Modine? Okay. You got it for curling? You know what I love about curling, guys, in the Olympics? Is that curling is the one event that any of us could do. And here's what I mean. I'm not saying that we could be the skip, although I could see myself as the skip. Holding a beer, a little more to the left, bring it to the right, bring it to the right. Okay, but what if you're one of the two people who push the guy who has the shuffle that pushes the rock, the stone? They call it a stone. So you have the guy who pushes the stone, but he's down and he has two people run and they push him, right? I think I could be one of those guys. Like, I think if you told me what to do, okay, I'm going to hold my shoulder here and just run and and then very gently push me. I think I could be one of the guys that push. So I think in the Olympics, in the Winter Olympics, I think there's a guy that gets a gold medal, two guys that get a gold medal for pushing some guy. I don't think you even have to practice. What, 10 times? I think I could do it 10 times in my life and be ready for the Olympics to compete. Okay, I'm ready to push you now. And it's the only sport I've ever seen in the Olympics that during the competition, while the competition is happening, these guys are standing around on their fucking phones texting people. I mean, Name another event where that's happening. Can you imagine in synchronized swimming, as they're in the pool, like doing their dance, they're on a phone texting people? I mean, it is the most unusual thing I've ever seen in my life. But I like it because it gives me hope. There's a path for me to be in the Olympics. Just let me be the guy who pushes. Or I could be one of the ice scrapers. I mean, I think I could sit there and run along and scrape the ice. I mean, I got to get in shape. Right now, I'd probably run out of gas, and then the guy would crash into me, and it would be a whole catastrophe. But I mean, not only do I think I could be in the Olympics on the curling team if I get to push the guy, but before the point is even finished, before it even stops the stone, I'll be eating a double cheeseburger from McDonald's. So I'll be the first guy to get like a crazy endorsement deal because McDonald's will fall in love with me. Because can you imagine you're watching curling on the Olympics and one of the competitors is, as it's happening, is sitting there, he pushes a guy and then he takes out a double cheeseburger and starts eating it. I mean, I think they would pay me millions for that. Question from our friend Dane. Do you think that, what's funny about Dano? If he was in a movie, like one of those old Viking movies where like Valhalla, where it's Valhalla versus England, Dane would definitely be one of the Vikings. Like he'd be one of the Danes for sure. Like he'd be one of those guys that come and raid and everything. You know what I mean? like there's no question he'd be one of the Vikings. I just had to point that out. Do you believe there is a better GM for the job through the end of this decade? Not that I know of. I can't name one. I mean, obviously the GM for Baltimore and Rosen for Philadelphia, I think are two of the best GMs. I think that quietly the Steelers GM is a freaking brilliant. They always have been. They've been brilliant. I think the Packers are doing a hell of a job. They've done a hell of a job with that organization. But I'm very happy with Joe Douglas. When I see people yelling, "Fire Joe Douglas," my first question is always, who are you going to hire? For an organization that suffered like we have, with the worst GMs and the worst drafts, I don't know how you could say fired Joe Douglas. Like, we finally draft good players. It's the most exciting thing every year. The guy's doing what he has to do. He's filling our locker room with talent. Stiggers, Stigley, or whatever his name is, Stigley. I mean, are you kidding me with this guy? Eccles. I mean, these are late round picks that are guys I trust to come into the game. He's amazing. He's an amazing GM, in my opinion. I feel that way, and I know a lot of people disagree, but that's just how I feel about Joe Douglas. I've been a Jet fan for 43 years, and I don't remember ever having a GM that's put this much talent in the locker room. I honestly, I can't name it. I don't have a GM that's done this, anything like this. I mean, we've had good GMs. The GM that built Rex's team for him before he screwed it, unfortunately, not with bad coaching. He's a great coach, but Rex screwed it up because he was a horrible, prospector. But, that guy, what was his name? Tannenbaum. I don't know which is the one that built it. That team in 2008, 2009. It was the guy. It was the brainiac coach that we stole from New England, right? McGenius, that helped build that team, and the GM, at that time. But other than that, what good GMs have we had? We had a GM that was smart enough to get Parcells because he was willing to come, and then once he got Parcells, it was all Parcells. Submission says, I think we can win Monday, but it will be a heartbreak. Hey, by the way, guys, I have a membership thing, and I'm not asking you to do it, but I noticed that on the other channels, everybody's gifting people memberships and everything like that. I'm not asking you to gift anybody a membership. What I'm asking is, can anybody, Nick said that it's on, and I just don't know that it's actually on. Is there a way, because I need to figure out how to, first of all, gift you memberships, because Nick said that I get a few every month that I can gift you guys. I can gift free memberships. But also, I just want to know that if somebody wanted to gift somebody memberships, are they able to, or is there something I've done wrong? Do I need to update something? So I'm not asking you to do it. I'm asking you to tell me, hey, Jeremy, I wouldn't be able to gift anybody a membership because it's not turned on. I need to know that. And as I see that, I see something green pop up. So hold on one second. Modine was gifted one Jets Chaos membership. Holy cow. But who? Who's the one that gifted him? And why did they gift Modine a membership? Of all the people, you gift Modine a freaking membership? Mo freaking Dean? Modine is a member? Look, he's laughing. Modine is a member? Are you serious? Well, I don't know who did it. I don't know how to tell who did it. Let me look. There's two. Knob gifted 5 Jets Chaos memberships. Knob, you did not have to do that, but I really appreciate it. I swear I wasn't asking for that. I just wanted to know that it worked. Thank you for showing me that it worked. I really appreciated it. I really appreciate it, brother. But I feel bad. I didn't want you to, I hope I didn't like press you to do that. But thank you. I'm just glad that people are able to gift other people memberships, and I appreciate that. I don't have a Discord. So what I'm going to do is now that you gave me those members, I have to like provide something special for members. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a Zoom and do like a Zoom hangout with members. And I'm going to look, I know on my channel, I can see who the members are. I don't know if there's a way that it lets me reach out to them separately. I'm imagining it does. Even if it doesn't, I'll put out the link in a in a community like message. I'll put out a Zoom link, and then when you're in the waiting room, I'll ask people to use their screen names only, so then I'll know who the members are because I have the list. Because YouTube, if I go into YouTube Studio, I can see who my members are, and then if the name matches, I let you in. So I'm gonna do something for my members. I know that was one thing Nick said. He goes, "You just can't have memberships, idiots. You actually have to do something." So Nick's big thing is a Discord, which is amazing to me. Like, people think it's actually like a good thing that you get to talk to Nick more, but apparently people like him. So I'm going to do a Zoom hangout. I'm stealing that from Greenbean, the bastard. But our new member, Modine, says, I gave a membership and Knob gave 5. Oh, Modine, you gave a membership? You are a member, though, Modine. So that's great. I'm wondering who got them. So now I'm just waiting to see who got the memberships. I think Dano got one. Looks like Dano was given a membership, so that's pretty cool. And let's see. Well, as the chat goes on, we're going to find people that were given memberships, so that's cool. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate it, Knobcraft. It's nice. No submissions didn't get one. That's a bummer. Free psychiatry sessions. Yeah, that would be interesting. I think we call that a dual relationship, though. Like if you know, I don't think that's that's not true. I mean, it depends who you are. If it was Knobcraft, I can't be his therapist. But and Dano, I probably know you too well already to be his therapist, to be your therapist. But like Submission 72, I never met personally. I could probably be his therapist. Like, I don't think that would be unethical. I don't think that would be a dual relationship. The only thing I would know about him is that he's a Jets fan, that he likes my content on YouTube. But they're pretty strict about dual relationship. That I can't be the therapist of people I know. Roger is a member. Great. And it was Mo who gave it to you? That's amazing. I haven't worked for the last year due to health issues. I'm really grateful for your generosity. That's amazing. Roger, I'm so happy that you got a membership. Charles is a member. You guys are doing, I appreciate it, guys. I appreciate this. This is great. Thank you. I mean, at this rate, you guys are going to help me pay for school. I got 6 guys. I'm under 6 months, by the way. I broke the halfway mark in my internship. So I did the first year, the classes, 12 months of classes. I did it in 10 months because they let me stack extra classes so I could finish early. And the practicum, you have to do a full year. That's the law to get licensed. So I can't take any shortcuts, but I'm done with 6 months. September 1st was like the halfway point. So I am halfway to becoming an associate marriage family therapist. Associate means I still need supervision, so you make less money. And you can't have your own private practice on your own. You have to have supervision. But when I get 3,000 hours, and my wife is accomplishing that in under 2 years, she's about to do it. and pass an exam, 2 exams, law and ethics exam and this marriage family therapist exam of California. When I pass those 2 exams, 3,000 hours, then I become an LMFT, which means I don't need supervision. I hang up my own little shingle and I could work for a company that does private practice therapy, like, and split money with them and they find the patients and take care of all the money and all that shit for me. Or I can go completely private and advertise and market and find my own clients. And, I could work with insurance companies if I want, or just take cash. So it's kind of cool. It looks like Crossfire gifted 5 memberships. Holy cow, man. I had like only 6 members and now I have like 12 to 18 members. So thanks, guys. Maybe even 20. I appreciate it. Thank you. And it's good to see you, Crossfire. I don't know if I said hello to you yet. So it's good to see you. Crossfire from Green Bean Jets fan community. So I know him and got friendly with him. I know he'll be watching Green Bean and I on Monday night. So I look forward to that. I don't know if you're going to the Denver game, but I hope to see you there. If anybody is going to the Talking Jets Denver game or whatever, let me know in the chat. Just say, hey, I'm going to the Denver game with Talking Jets. And make sure, we're definitely going to hook up because I'm there. So I'm going to bump into you. But I'm going to be there. So make sure, I just want to know that, you're going to be there, and we'll definitely get together at the tailgate and hang out and talk and chat. So my wife is a social worker going for her own practice. Cool. So that's me and my wife. So my wife is 2 years ahead of me. So she's already an associate. She is about on the same timeline as me, which is funny. Like right when I become an associate, she's right at the point where she's going to have the hours. And she's going to, she already passed one of the exams. She's going to take the other. So when I'm graduating, my wife is going to become a full LMFT. And I get to watch what she does, right? But when I become an LMFT and I'm a full LMFT, it's like family practice, husband and wife, both. And she has a different skill set than me. She has a different approach than I do, different experiences. She can focus on different types of clients, but together we could be more of like a complete partnership, which I think is really cool. And I'm loving the therapy, guys. Loving it. Let's see. It looks like Kuka oh, you're just a moderator, Kuka. I thought you got a membership. I was excited for you. I thought you got one of the memberships. But hey guys, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Your marriage needs supervision. I'm actually really enjoying couples therapy. I didn't think I would. Like I did it because I need relational hours. There's you have to do a lot of different things. Yeah, they call it relational hours. You have to do either family, group, or kids under 18 or couples. And I actually like the couples. I think I'm gonna, like, when I'm full on my own practice, I think I'm definitely gonna like have couples on the list of what I do. It's actually a lot of fun. It's fun when they look at you to resolve, like that your opinion means everything. Like they think that you're gonna tell them who's wrong and who's right, and then it's like, I'm not gonna tell you who's wrong and what's right. I'm just gonna I'm gonna regurgitate what I see back to you, and it might become very obvious to you that you're right or that you're wrong when you hear me regurgitate it back to you. Let's see. Crossfire has been a member for 4 months. He says, where are you located? I'm sure my wife can refer couples to you for the future. Unfortunately, it's a state thing. It's not like there's no United States thing, although they are building a thing. There's a coalition of 34 states that are in the coalition that if you pass one federal test, you automatically, for those 34 states, can apply for licensure to practice in that state. Right now, I'm just California. So if you know people in California, I work for a nonprofit. My practicum is nonprofit. And it's literally without insurance, $20 for therapy, $20 freaking dollars. And, and I'm under supervision. There's a supervisor. They don't necessarily listen to the sessions unless you okay it, but they, they give tons of advice and everything like that. But the truth is I've been doing it for 17 years as an educator. So it's not, for some of these trainees have never done anything like it. For me, it's like, I've been providing therapy for kids and their parents for 17 years. So I'm loving it. I'm having a great time. Crossfire, I didn't realize you were a member for 4 months, so you were already a member. So you're just buying other people memberships. You're the best, man. But I'm in California, so unfortunately, I just can't take referrals from anywhere. And I do need new clients, and I certainly need couples, so it's a shame. But if you know anybody in California wants therapy or know someone who needs therapy, really inexpensive, it's $20 a session a week. Don't need insurance. You just send them my way. Jeremy, you could be like the therapist on the TV show, Dear John. There's a show on there's a show. Oh, your whole family lives in California. Well, if anybody is interested in therapy, if you have, especially the kids, if you have like a teenager in your family that you want just to talk to an adult and just get advice and stuff about school, about just someone they can talk to it's confidential, that they could talk freely to, whatever, just let me know. And I'll be happy to work with them. They all need therapy, LOL. Everybody needs therapy. It's true. Proud New York Jets fans comes and says, I hate myself. I'm an awful sloth and eat McDonald's too much. Read it word for word, fatty. I hate myself. I am an awful sloth and eat McDonald's too much. I want to say in my defense, I've lost 22 pounds and I haven't had McDonald's. And it's really hurtful that you're talking that way, Nick, because the truth is you go to a field to coach a team and there's a bakery across the street and you can't control yourself and you stuff your face with baked pastries every time you go, and you know it's true. Thanks for the super chat. You know it's true. You know it's true. But anyway, back to the Jets. I need to come back to New York. I'm coming back to New York on September 29th for the Jet game. Well, I'm coming to New Jersey, but I'll be back. I'm coming back. No, we've talked about it. It's not impossible that me and my wife end up back in New York. It's not impossible, but we're going to have to wait a while because it would be really hard to, like, you have to be a therapist for a certain amount of time until you can easily apply for a license and take the exam and switch states. So, because New York has a separate exam, it's a pain in the neck. But technically I could come back, live in New York, and just see California patients online. So if I get a company online job where all my therapy is online, I could technically move back to New York and just, it's going to be weird because my 8 a.m., my 5 p.m. session is going to be now 8 at night, but I could do it. That audio will be my alarm clock. Weed the People is in the house. Hold on. Let me see if you're really there. Oh, there you are. What's up, Weed the People? I got to meet you when you come to Jersey. So, Weed, I don't know if you're going to the game, but Nick has got to work on Friday. And I think he might be able to pick me up at the airport, but then he's got I think he was going to then go to work and give me his car. So maybe I'll check into the hotel if they'll take me early or whatever. But I'm going to be just like alone in like the Perth Amboy area by the Outer Bridge Crossing, Menlo Park, like that area. I'm going to be there all day on Friday, the 27th, the Friday the 27th. So, joyride in Nick's car. So if you want to come out and meet me, then you can. You certainly can. But then I have to meet Nick at his kid's game, practice game, whatever. So I am not going to be a sex therapist. That's not me. I'm not that guy. I hate it when I was doing a couple. I mean, I hate it when I do a couple and the couple starts complaining about that. Like one complains we don't have enough sex because I'm just sitting there going, I don't know what to say. Like, like I'm not supposed to talk about drugs. I'm not supposed to bring up Viagra. So I'm just like, what am I supposed to say to that? Like, I don't know. Like, can you tell me more about that? Like, what's going on? Like, I don't know how to like, because part of me thinks that sometimes it's just, you married for a while and welcome to marriage, like, you get bored. I don't know, spice it up, buy some cheerleader outfits or something. Jeremy the therapist. tells his clients to buy cheerleader outfits. Weed cannot enter my car. I don't think he means weed the people. He's saying you can't bring marijuana in his car, which is understandable. I'm not driving with no marijuana in the car, by the way. Like, I don't play that game. Weed the people, you're just going to have to eat edibles or something. So Nick points out like the best freaking pizza place in that area, right? It's a place called Nancy's. And Dave, whatever his name is, gave it like a freaking 9.4 or 9.2. Like, it got a crazy score. So it's like one of his top 10 places, which means it's the most freaking incredible. I looked it up on Yelp at the pictures, and it looks like the most incredible pizza I've ever seen. And then it says open 4 p.m. to something. Like, well, what the hell good is that? If I go at 4 o'clock, then I'm eating pizza when I'm supposed to be meeting you at work with your car. So I can't go. And then the other place you gave me looks like was the exact opposite. He gave it a 6.8 and he didn't like it at all. So what the hell, man? Oh, you meant the person. He can't go in your car. Dude, I'm probably going to eat at that Harold's Deli. Like, I'm going to probably eat at the Harold. Oh, look at this. I'll sit on the roof. I find that acceptable. Charles, I'm not putting that on. I'm sorry. That's gross. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know, man. There's a deli called Harold's. It's this, they give you these giant sandwiches. It's amazing food. And I'm like, the hotel is gonna be right there. I'm probably gonna end up eating there like freaking the whole time that I'm there. You know, so I went through a surreal tragedy, health, and I'm finally turning into the place where I've been trying to get. You made a great investment in me. Cool, Roger F, man. That's so awesome. I'm so glad that you're doing better, man. I don't know what you mean by investment, though. Just love you. You know what I mean? I didn't invest in you. I mean, me personally, I just like you. I just said that guy's a great guy. His daughter is amazing. She's adorable. I'm glad to know him. I'm happy that he watches my channel. You know, so. I'll be driving that weekend. I'll go get food with you. Oh, I didn't know. No, you're going to be in the area? Holy cow. Yeah, we're definitely meeting up. I mean, it's funny because Knob, I'll see you that week too in North Carolina. I'm going to Raleigh first. Like, I'm going to Cary the week before. I'm flying up from Cary. So we can hang out in North Carolina and then, you know, then we'll see each other again. But yeah, man, anybody who wants to meet up, I'm going to be around that weekend. I mean, obviously, we're going to do the Cyclone if it's open again. I'm going to be in Brooklyn on Saturday during the day. But then I don't know, you know, after the Cyclone thing, I'm going to get back to New Jersey. I'm assuming I'm going to hang out with Nick. But if you guys want to hang out with me and Nick, yeah, just let me know. I'm assuming that I'm going to hang out with Nick because I think Saturday during the day he does a football thing. But I think when I get back at like 3 p.m. or when I get back into Jersey, I think Nick is going to have some expectations that we're going to hang out. So, unless Nick doesn't want to hang out, and then screw him. You know what I mean? If he thinks he's too good for me now and he's just too important to be seen with me, then I guess that's just going to, you know, then I guess it'll just be you and me, Knob. You know, anyone going to the Colts game, Jets game? Not me. I'm still there's like this slight chance. There's like this slight chance that I'm going to go to the Arizona Cardinals Jets game, and which I think is cool because my friend Glenn, who lives out here, is a Jet fan. People know him as Google Glenn. His son goes to Arizona State now. He's a freshman. And I think he wants to take his other son, who's a diehard Jet fan. He was once on this channel. I think he wants to take him. He asked me if, like, maybe we do the fellas, like, do a trip to, you know, fly into Phoenix and pick up his kid and see a Jet game. And I'm like, well, if we do that, we have to go for a few days because I have to. I mean, like, there's an Arizona Jets fan club. So I definitely got to hang out with them if I go because I think it's so cool that there's a fan club and they're on Twitter, and I think that some of them are on Green Bean's channel or whatever. I don't know if I've ever seen any of them here, but it'd be really cool to bump into them. I'm yours all day Saturday because I can make the game Sunday with coaching. I can make the game Sunday with coaching. Oh, okay. So I don't know if you want to go to Coney Island, but I'm going to be taking Uber or Lyft over the Outer Bridge crossing on Saturday morning to wherever Green Bean is, and then riding into Brooklyn with him. And then my plan was to come back to with him to Staten Island, and then when I get out of the car, call an Uber to go back over the bridge. So that was my plan, Nick. But if you're going to the Cyclone, then I don't know if you don't want to drive, we could take an Uber together over the bridge. I'll pay for it, and go with Green Bean and the whole thing back and forth. As long as Green Bean has room in the car, I doubt that he doesn't. I would imagine that he's going to have room. So that was my plan. Oh, you guys, Kuka, you got to go to that. He's doing his annual pig roast. You got to go to his annual pig roast. You can't miss that. Freddie, if you make the AZ game, if I'm going, I'm going to obviously announce it, and I will. I think the Arizona. I'm assuming that the Arizona Jets fan club is going to have a tailgate party that day, like of that game. I'm assuming that. Or at the very worst, they're going to have a pre-party in some bar or restaurant type place. So whatever it is, I will let you know, Freddie, in case you're not in touch with them, so we can go to that game and be with Jet fans. So I think that would be really cool. I'm down. No need to Uber. That's great news, Nick. I was smart to become your friend. Don't worry, Charles. I'm not mad at you. I just couldn't put it up. It's like you could put in the chat whatever you want to put. It's okay. I was just explaining to you why I couldn't highlight it, but I'm not upset with you, Charles. Okay, it's totally fine. That's why I have the ability, to select the chat that I put up and the chat that I don't put up. So I just was telling you that I couldn't put it up. Not that it wasn't funny or anything. I just couldn't put it up because it might offend some people. It was, you know what I mean? I don't put I have my limits to what I can put up, but it doesn't mean I'm mad at you or upset with you in any way. I'm not. It's totally fine. I'm not, but I'll hook up. Yeah. I'm going to let you know, Freddie. I'm definitely going to let you know. If I end up going, I'll definitely let you know. And I'll let you know where I am or whatever in the parking lot, that kind of thing. Black Russians. Kahlua, heavy cream, Kahlua. What makes it a Black Russian? Like a White Russian is just the Kahlua and the cream. What makes it a Black Russian? Does a Kahlua make it the Black Russian and it's just vodka and cream? No. What makes it a Black Russian? Oh, no cream. No cream. Chaos loses weight and now he has limits. He changed. I didn't change. Come on. I'm just not, I don't talk about it like anal sex stuff. I'm not going to put that stuff. That's all. That's it. It was, I'm just like, yeah. No cream. So I was right. Okay. No cream. Makes sense. Of course, Knob knows. He's a chef. So aside from that, he's a drinker. Oh, Charles, you're turning 30? I know this guy. He takes birthdays. He's a YouTube content provider, and he makes a very big deal out of people's birthdays. His name is, I think it's Proud New York Jets Fan. You might want to reach out to that guy because maybe he'll give you like a special show. Like he might do like a big thing to celebrate your birthday. So you should reach out to him. He does a good job. But that's cool that it's going to be your birthday, man. 30's a pretty big one. 30, man, starting your 30s. It's a pretty big deal. Congratulations. So I'm excited for you. Guys, I'm going to wrap it up. I think we got some football to watch. So I thank you for joining me on this weird Friday time out of nowhere that I just randomly popped in. but we just wanted to hang out, give some takes, and exactly. Let's see. 1 second before I go. Chaos, in another video you mentioned Gibson is your starting slot man with Corley behind him. Do you think we'll use GW inside very much? I think we'll line him up inside when we're playing a 12 or 21. Like, I don't think that we'll always split them. Like, I think that you might see Garrett Wilson line up like where the slot would line up. And there might be times where we go big and we bring Lazard in, right? Or we bring Lazard in and we have Lazard and Williams, playing the X and the Y, and then like you kind of use, or the X and the Z. I'm messing that up. And then you have, I shouldn't use the letters, man. I'm just not Dom C. But anyway, I think that you might see Garrett Wilson at times. I don't think it's going to be a regular thing, but he has the capability of it. I would love to see what Garrett Wilson looks like coming out of the slot. Can you imagine how goddamn scary that would be for the defense? Like, yeah, I think that. But I also think that, there's no rule that says if you're playing a 12 personnel that it has to be, the two wide receivers have to be completely split on the outsides, right? So I don't know. We'll see where they want to line them up. I don't think it's impossible because I know he has the ability, and he'd probably be really dangerous out of the slot. That's what I think. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Take care. That's right. So everybody say goodbye. Brooklyn Frank, you're the freaking man. Good to see you joining us. I'm sorry I have to go. Jeremy, who's the number 2 wide receiver Williams on the field for a pitch count? I think it's Lazard. Position-wise, right? It's not talent-wise. It's position. Like, who's the backup big guy? Like, if Garrett Wilson was to, God forbid, knock on wood, just miss 2 plays. He tweaked his ankle. He comes out to have it looked at. Who goes in? It's Lazard. If Mike Williams was to tweak it, who goes in? It's Lazard. I think that Gibson is the slot. If Curly dresses, he's going to be the backup slot, but also a guy they might have some gadget plays for. And I don't know, like if they don't dress Brownlee, I mean, it's not going to be Irv Charles. So it's got to be Lazard. He's got to be the guy that comes in. It's just a position thing. But I'm not worried about it. Lazard had a great camp. I really believe that. I don't think he's a star, but I think he's going to be fine. I don't think it's going to be a problem. So, but thank you guys. I appreciate you guys for being here. I appreciate the membership thing. I just wanted to know if it worked. I didn't know you were going to buy a bunch of memberships. So thank you for doing that, and take care. Look out for my videos. There'll be one every day from now on, hopefully for the rest of the time. Take care. And we are out of here.